Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, guys, today's reading is definitely one that is showing the intensity of the times that we are in. As the first card we are looking at, trapped in fear, and fear can cause us to not be able to move, to not make any progress, to just basically be frozen in a spot, not seeing the bigger picture and not putting into action the things we need to put into action. When we look at the card right next to it, which is cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Sometimes it is only when we hit rock bottom, when things look, in some cases, the bleakest or the most challenging, that the best in us will come out. And what we are being told right here in all these cards, really, when it comes together, is that basically things are going to a different level. We have to dig down deep inside. This is really why we're here. And these are times that will definitely test us. We've seen this card up above it before, Kenyini, and in each other we find ourselves. So that's the big question now. How are we going to react? Are we going to pull each other up? Are we going to support each other, band together, work together? We are most definitely seeing a lot of change. If we look over here, we see the facade is off. The masses are waking up, and they're waking up in droves. More and more people are looking up and waking up as well. So the facade is going, and we see the emperor has no clothes. We're recognizing the bigger picture, and at the same time, it can almost feel like it's too late of an awakening. But it's never too late. We all are here with a divine purpose. And so it's time for us to focus. It's time for us to concentrate, as we see Ganesh over here. We really have to get our butts in gear, and that's really what this is saying. When we look over to Uriel and the Sphinx, it wasn't too long ago that the Sphinx was buried in sand up to its neck, and we all wonder, how long has the Sphinx been around? Has the Sphinx seen more than one death and resurrection of a society on this planet, as it may feel like we're facing yet another at this moment? It's time for us to dig deep. It's time for us to find that inner strength and willpower and focus. We have to band together as much as possible in our family groups and in bigger groups as well. We need to support each other. We need to get to work. Time is definitely something that's of the essence right now. And so here we see the Ganja. Now this card represents purification from sin, pacification of worldly desire, liberation at time of death, and remedy for physical disease. Very interesting card to come up, don't you think, today, with everything that we're seeing happening around us. Obviously, the world is faced with a big crisis here. And so how are we going to react? That's the key. And that is most definitely the key of these times. Now, we could look at it in a lot of different ways, as we see over here. Divine destiny, the path of the divine warrior. You who are awakened and have come here in the first place to be in these times, to help the transition from the death of the Kali Yuga, the dark age, into a new age where once again we will have enlightenment. We will have understanding. Our abilities to live in harmony with the world will once again be tested, and we will manifest a new reality here on this planet. Most definitely, those that have been running the show do not hold sacred life in general. They just simply hold sacred their own greed, lust, and desire for power and wealth. And it's a very sad situation, which has led to us being in the place that we're in right now. Now, right next to it, we see the Ace of Fire. So it is an exciting new opportunity. We can change things. We can change our life now, and we're being told we must change our life now. That's what this card is saying. It's all about change right now. And it's about changing in a hurry, as well as we are going against the rising tide of not only the earth changes, but now also of a potential pandemic. And so we must change our mindsets. We must get organized. We must band together as well as we possibly can. And we must work for each of us for our own families and for our own friends and loved ones together, doing what we can do to start to, we're going to live in a more tribal setting one way or another. And that is something that can bring us back in harmony with the earth itself. As we know, this society in this modern age has been a plague upon the earth. It's been just like a nasty virus. And we see how nasty viruses can be and how they can decimate the host with no respect for life at all. And we also see the potential is there for change, and it's up to us to manifest change. When we see the Princess of Wands, it's all about getting that fire lit underneath our butts, because, in some ways we're running out of time to get ourselves organized, to get ourselves situated as best we can. In other readings we have seen, so many people have been feeling the urge for change, to maybe get up, get out of their area, get out of their situation. They have found that they cannot tolerate certain people, certain jobs anymore, certain relationships, things like the corporate world, and really, these things that they can't tolerate anymore are to such a degree that it could make you actually physically ill, and you just need to get out of the situation. But we can master this environment if we learn how to live in harmony with each other and the planet. Many ancient cultures obviously have had advanced technology to do the things that they did, but they still chose to live in balance and harmony. And thus they have not left behind the legacy that we have. And with this corporate mindset and this elitist mindset that has ruled us for thousands of years, as we see the King of Pentacles and Shiva there, Shiva is the destroyer and the destroyer of this system, which needs to be destroyed. We see the system breaking down around us. And that needs to happen, but it's most definitely not going to be an easy or clean process. So it is time for us to, again, hunker down. We realize the illusion that we have all been living under is crumbling. And that is something that can be very shocking to the system, to all of a sudden realize that those things that we held as truths, weren't so true after all. As we know with our history books, with all the bad science that we have had as well. And, just the lack of compassion and love and caring in the world, especially from those that are at the very, very highest positions of power in this world. And thus we see people in the streets. We see that time and time again. Now people in the streets, people protesting. And it's time to go even farther. It's time to get ourselves out of the system. And whatever that looks like to you, in our situation here in a tiny community, it's not so hard, really. The challenges that we have here is mostly environment. It's not the most hospitable environment in many ways, but yet we can survive here, and others have. There's Native Americans that have survived in climates that would boggle our mind in our modern society, and yet people are doing it, and they're learning how to cope, learning new skills. It's most definitely time to put skills into practice, learn new skills as quickly as you can, as far as things like growing your own food and surviving off-grid, learning how to build shelter, learning how to do First aid, for instance. All these things are things that we need to get ourselves organized with as soon as possible, because the transition period that we're in right now is going to an all new level. And so we're being told to basically buckle down, hunker down, settle in, concentrate, and get our butts to work. And that is our message for the day. So my friends, as always, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Stay prepared, stay safe, God bless, and namaste.